you will see that now is the time to be at least purchasing your fertilizer and getting ready to put that out. And what is available, at least from us, and I'm not sure if they've got others, but the primary three is it's all the same fertilizer. There is an orange or almost red bag that's called Imperial, and they are all 15-5-10. The mix of fertilizer is 15-5-10, and the Imperial is the one without any weed killer, so there is no weed and feed component to it. We are just feeding in that case. So if you don't have weeds or don't have a lot of weeds, that is the way I would go. You don't want to be using herbicides unnecessarily. If you don't have a lot of weeds, just get the Imperial, fertilize, just feed the lawn and get it out there after you mow. We better go into each one because there is one weed and feed that you don't want a freshly mowed yard. But with the Imperial, ideally it's a freshly mowed yard. You put the fertilizer out at the recommended rate, which is on the back of the bag, tells you how to put it out there with your rotary spreader that kind of slings it around out there. You don't want to overdo it, which is certainly possible to do. Put it out there and then water it in thoroughly. I think the bag suggests a 1/2 inch, so pretty much a normal cycle of your irrigation. So just get that fertilizer out there and water it in. Now another option is the same fertilizer, and it's in a purple bag, bright purple bag, and it is a weed and feed, same 15-5-10. The active ingredient to kill the weeds is atrazine. When you get into using these fertilizers with herbicides in them, the weed killers, you want to be careful with it. If you get them in your flower beds or anything like that, it can be tough on shrubs, and especially if you've got color out in the yard. If you've got snapdragons or something like that, it may kill them dead if you've got that on them. So both of these weed and feeds that we're going to talk about, the atrazine and the Trimec, so you want to be careful with them. The one with the atrazine is another one. As soon as you put it out, freshly mowed yard, put it out, and then you want to water it in really well. Now, the one that takes a little bit more doing is, I would call it a turquoise bag. It's the weed and feed, same 15-5-10 fertilizer, but the active ingredient to kill weeds is called Trimec. And the application is a little bit different. Most of these weed killers kill the broadleaf weeds, the clovers, and the things with the big lettuce-looking leaves and stuff like that. The grassy weeds, a lot of these don't have as much success getting rid of those. So you would put this fertilizer out, and you want ideally there to be a fresh dew on the grass. I found that to be best. If you don't have a fresh dew or you can't time that right, just run your irrigation or put a sprinkler out there for 5 minutes and wet down the leaves of the grass and get it damp, and then you put the fertilizer out at the recommended rate. The granules have to stick to those big leaves for a couple of days, and it takes it up through the chemical up through the leaves. So you do not want to water this one in immediately after. You want to wait a couple of days, let it absorb that chemical, and within a couple of days you'll see the effects. It starts curling those weeds up, and there's no doubt about which ones it's going to kill and which ones it's not. So that one takes a little bit more planning, but it is a great one as well. Something that I should mention for sure here is that the Trimec is safe for all the grasses. The atrazine, you do not want to use that on the Bermudas and the Zoysias. So the purple bag is a no-go for the Bermudas and the Zoysia. It will take its toll on those. I don't think that it would kill them at these rates, but it would be really bad for them. So if you've got Bermuda or Zoysia, you want to do Trimec only. Also, Randy Lemon jumped up on and down on this for years, is that atrazine is a tough chemical. You do not want to use it year after year underneath your trees and stuff like that, because those trees can eventually take that chemical up as well. It would not be good for your trees. Again, if you can avoid using herbicides, you keep your grass thick and you follow the pre-emergent programs and stuff like that and keep the weeds out of there, you shouldn't have to use a weed and feed. But if you do, use them sparingly and just be careful when you're putting them out there. You do want to have a note here that says it's kind of a guess as to when you put out this fertilizer. When you start to see the grass kind of green up naturally, you know the plant is growing, and when it is growing is the only time it's going to take that fertilizer up into the plant. So you want to see some green, you want to see some growing, and you want to be fairly confident that we're past the last frost. So there's really no science to it, but around here it is usually early to mid-March that you start to be safe to do that. So Let's see here. We've talked a little bit about the fertilizers. Do always follow the labels. Everybody asks us, well, how much of it should I put out and whatnot? All the bags list the different spreaders on the back of them. Or if not, I'm sure you can Google. I know there's so many different spreaders. The safest bet is to have any of the Scots, the little green plastic spreaders. Those are the most popular, so that's on the back of most every bag. So just pay attention to that, and more is not better. Just because you have some of the bag left over, don't just go at it again just because you have some of the material. All of these things will save. If you roll the bags down tight and put them in your garage in some place they're not going to get wet, it will last. So don't feel like you have to use it all.